Um, Thank you all for coming. So when was the last time you heard the phrase, we need to innovate? I'm guessing it was fairly recently. Or maybe you heard someone say, we need to create new businesses. That's a big one to say in Michigan here. Or we need a culture of entrepreneurs. Then there's the super scary phrase, we need to rethink the whole system. Whatever it is, there's an urgent feeling today that across many sectors and verticals, the world needs new innovations. It's a pain we feel deeply in Michigan, but it's not unique to us. We have some pretty wicked problems. Where will the innovations come from? Who are the super smart people who will decide which innovations we need, and what will they be? I can try and tell you what I think they'll be, but the truth is I have no clue. 100 years ago, who could have accurately described how the automobile or the light bulb would radically change economies all over the world? Nobody. But if you wanted to tinker on those innovations, the United States was the place to do it. That's what we want to get back to, turning Michigan into an ecosystem that's the best place to have an idea and get running with it. An ecosystem where 1,000 small solutions can get started, knowing that a few will adapt and become those innovations we're looking for. Today we're launching a new venture to create an ecosystem for ideas to get going. It's called Start Garden, and technically Start Garden is a venture capital fund. In fact, it is a $15 million venture capital fund. It's more fun if you write stuff. But it's really unlike any other fund in the world. It involves funding hundreds of ideas which can come from anywhere and from anyone. They're submitted through a simple form on the website. The ideas can apply to any business category and again be from anywhere. Start Garden asks the entire state of Michigan to embrace these ideas and help them discover if they'll become businesses. If you ask a farmer where a crop comes from, she'll probably say that it starts with seeds. Start Garden is looking for seeds. Start Garden creates the field and brings the water. We ask the people to bring their ideas and plant them. And we ask existing businesses in our region to become the farmers, because we believe the soil is fertile for business here. And we can be the best place for somebody to have an idea and run with it. So imagine for a moment that there's a place that people all over the world know about, and you can bring your idea there and immediately be working on it with all the resources you need at your fingertips. That's our vision for Michigan. It's a big vision, so big that we're going to roll it out in stages. Stage 1 starts today with the launch of this $15 million fund. This fund comes from the entire DeVos family because we've seen firsthand the ramifications of an entrepreneur being able to get an idea into the world. So let me tell you how the fund works. It all starts with an idea. Start Garden will take an idea and invest in it in a very incremental way. That can be likened to a stair step. Isn't this fun, all this drawing? So starting today, Start Garden will invest $5,000 in 2 ideas every week. We'll keep investing in 2 ideas each week indefinitely. So how are we going to do that? Any idea that can turn into a business can be submitted to startgarden.com, which goes live this morning. A week from today, we invest in 2 ideas and continue doing that for each week afterward. The Start Garden team chooses one idea to invest in, and you, the broader community, choose the other. We want to know what the broader community wants. Like I said, we don't know the future, so we want to invest in ideas you really like. So each week we pick an idea to invest into and you pick the other. In other words, we'll invest in over 100 ideas a year and half of them are chosen by the general public. You can do it all on startgarden.com. But you may be thinking, $5,000 won't launch a business. That's why there's a next step on our stair step. At the $5,000 level, Start Garden does not take ownership of your idea, but we have an option to remain investors should it turn into a successful business. If the idea does not turn into a successful business, you owe us nothing. However, if you accept the $5,000 investment, you agree to return in person within 60 to 90 days and get up on a stage at a public event to account for what you did with that $5,000. We're looking for people who do something smart with a little. If you think you did something smart with $5,000, we'll invest another $20,000. At that point, your idea is turning into an interesting project. 50,000, 100,000, up to $500,000 can be invested in any given Start Garden idea. Our philosophy is that it can be a small investment or a big investment, but it's always an investment in the next step. That's stage one of Start Garden, and we've already begun. With us today are 4 ideas that we've already invested $5,000 into. They're on startgarden.com. $5.99 work, a website we first encountered through our 5x5 night event. John Bell is here and available for questions afterwards. The Delta Bike project is an interesting project around crowdsourcing the manufacturing of an electric motorcycle. Craig Schultz, the inventor, is also here today. 1 Second Epic is an app to record tiny pieces of your life that's stitched together in an epic movie of you. And Eric Wilhelm is here to answer questions on that. Net Value is about grabbing better basketball statistics. Think Moneyball for basketball. And Mark Andreas is here if you'd like to talk with him. But there's more. Several businesses in our region have committed to making this the best place to have an idea and run with it. To that end, Steelcase, Amway, Cascade Engineering, Fifth Third Bank, Universal Mind, and the Jander Noah family have pitched in to help mentor Start Garden projects and bring time and talent to these to these ideas. Representatives from these businesses are also here today and can answer questions afterwards. We hope more area businesses get involved in the same way. So we're asking the Michigan business community to consider how you can join Start Garden to help these ideas get going. Like I said, it's a big vision. We need the whole state to get involved. Start Garden wants to help nurture ideas, so don't hold back and run with it, please. Today we've introduced stage 1 of Start Garden, a $15 million fund that starts investing at the idea level, a platform where an idea can quickly turn into a project, and a project can quickly turn into a business. The next stage will roll out this summer. I'd like to focus questions on today's announcement, and thank you all for coming out to hear about it. Yep, on the website. Yep.
In your
Yes.
stages, you kind of have a board and decide when you're ready for the next stage?
Yeah, so there's an internal Start Garden team that will be looking at everybody that's kind of in the ecosystem and deciding at those monthly events if $20,000 is going to help somebody move forward. We'll maybe choose to make that investment at that point, but we'll be making investments on an ongoing basis based on all sorts of variables and things that we're looking at.
Can you help to structure that stuff as you go up?
Yeah. Well, the whole thing is about trying to find resources for people with ideas and startups and apply them to them. So, yeah.
Why pick such a fluid model and involve the public?
Because it's much bigger than us. Our goal is to be a catalyst that kind of leads the charge in terms of investing in extremely early stage ideas. Our goal for all of these are to have as many partners as possible in them. So the sort of simplicity of the model invites as much participation as possible and gets that sort of primordial stew going in creating a whole variety of things.
How long does an idea have to be in process till it starts majorly investing?
It's really, and it depends on the project. So something could be getting some real serious traction relative to other things within a week. Another one could kind of stumble around for a month or two and be kind of hoarding their resources. So there's no real. Yes.
Do you always start at the bottom, or can you start a little bit higher up in the steps?
You can absolutely start higher up in the steps. The $5,000 level is really our attempt to get as much stuff going as possible. But we'll be engaging with companies all along this continuum. And again, our goal is to work with as many partners as possible. So especially at those higher dollar levels, we want to be part of syndicated deals with other funds and stuff.
Is this just for people in Michigan, or how does the...
You can submit for the $5,000 a submission. You can submit from anywhere. Again, you are required to come within 60 to 90 days and give that update, so you're going to need to show up here. As far as the later investment, our goal is to build an ecosystem. So to what extent that the person that we're investing in, the team that we're investing in later stages, is able to plug in and contribute to the ecosystem will be kind of figured out on an individual basis. But it's not so much about relocating people here as much as making sure that they're committed and tied in and able to share their knowledge with other folks that are starting things.
Rick, will there be any incubation associated with this?
There won't be any incubation, sort of the classic sense. Again, this is kind of stage one that we're talking about today to get this thing rolling, and we'll have more to talk about in the coming months.
What does this mean for the future of 5x5 and Momentum?
So Momentum this is the evolution of Momentum in a way. 5x5 night, we've put on kind of an early summer break because we wanted to focus on this. It's going to be plenty of work to deal with this. So that will likely evolve in another way and become sort of that monthly event where people are updating on what they've done with those $5,000 investments. But we just needed to kind of get this thing in the wild and before we decided what to do with that.
Can you reiterate, is there a time frame at which people jump up to that next step, or is it more proof of how your work is?
So the $5,000 investments will be made every single week. 2 of them will be made every single week, with a couple, holiday weeks in there. But then we'll have those monthly events where people are giving their updates, and it's likely that some $20,000 investments will be made directly out of those, but there will be a whole bunch of other investments that are made, again, on an individual basis.
So basically at those meetings, you'll kind of see progress and then decide.
Yeah, and that the meeting is really for the benefit of the ecosystem, because we will be in touch with these folks all throughout the process. So we'll have a good idea of where everybody is and the sort of traction that they're getting.
So it's not like there's a set rule. If I'm a person trying to start a business, that, okay, I have to do this for X number of months to get this much profit to get to the next step.
No, and traction is all relative to other folks that are working on things. Yeah. Yes.
So if you submit an idea and it's not chosen by you or the public, do you resubmit? Or
Yes, you resubmit. Every week it'll be wiped clean and you'll resubmit.
What level of detail are you looking for in the initial application?
It's very simple. It's a description of your idea, and I'm blanking out on. It's very, very simple though, and it's live on StartGarden.com, so you can check it out right now.
It has about 2 paragraphs.
Yeah.
Can anyone go on there and vote weekly? I mean, how does that happen?
Yeah, everybody can. You register through the site and you endorse things every week. Yeah.
With each stage of financing, is there going to be specific percentages of equity that is going to be taken?
That's a great question. For the $5,000 level, we are not going to be traditional equity investors. It's really a contract at that point that reserves our place in line to be able to invest in further rounds if they get traction and go for further financing. If they don't go for further financing, we can convert into an equity holder of 3%, which we think is very reasonable based on the extremely early stage and extremely high risk of that money. But if everything flames out, it's not like a loan. You're not going to have to pay us back. Yeah.
When you said in the beginning that we had to solve some wicked problems, like wicked problems in Michigan or in the country, or just give me a scope of your.
Both, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So you're really, when you say building an ecosystem earlier, it's like not just in Grand Rapids or just in Michigan. You're just like.
Well, we're in Grand Rapids, and that's where the home base of this thing will be, and that's where we're focused. But we intend for our reach to be beyond just Grand Rapids.
Is there a limited number of submissions each week that you cut it off, or are you?
No. No. Well, we'll have more stuff that we're rolling out probably in the summer. Yeah, that we'll have more to talk about then. Yep.
Any particular verticals that you're focusing on, or is it just open to anything?
At that $5,000 level, we're definitely open to anything. The goal with all of our investments is to be able to provide more than just capital, though. So to the extent that there are ideas and companies and startups that are tying into local bases of knowledge and experience, that's going to be a plus, especially in those later rounds. But at that $5,000 level, at the earliest level, it's extremely open, which is, I think part of our philosophy in terms of not really forcing things at the very earliest stages. Yes, Dale.
So as these companies mature and go along the path, how involved will you be in terms of the governance and the mentoring? You mentioned that some of the folks are going to be mentoring. Will there be classic board seats involved, or how do you anticipate that you'll help?
Yeah, at the much later stages, we'll get into the more classic governance thing with board seats and so forth. At the earliest stages, it's because of the numbers involved, it doesn't make sense for us to be involved at board level with things, and we're not setting up the vehicles, our investment vehicles, to be able to do that. So, oh my, but our anticipation is that those are a handful a year, so we'll be able to deal with the governance needs of those. At the earliest stages, it's really more of a network and a mentorship group. So we've already done things with pulling together mentors with the Momentum program. We're going to continue that, and it'll be a much more ongoing process in terms of having this pool of folks that are engaged with these companies in the earlier stages.
Sorry, it's for $15 million. Is it, like, how fast are you looking to spend it, and are you looking to grow that eventually? I mean, is it self-renewing?
Yeah, so we're kind of looking at a 3-year horizon in terms of deploying the most of it and seeing if the merits of this approach. So yeah, 3 to 5 years.
Any more? One more? No?
You mentioned you already had a couple businesses lined up for this.
Yes.
Can you speak on them, or?
Yeah, well, I mentioned them a little bit. There's 599 Work, Delta Bike, 1 Second Epic, and Net Value, and they're all here and can chat with you guys in a few minutes.
That's a great segue. We're going to put a fork in it. Okay.
Thank you, everyone, for coming out. It's awesome.
Is this thing on? I don't think this needs to be on. So actually, these are the companies. Let's call them ideas. These are the ideas we've invested in. You could raise your hand right there. And they're sort of against the wall. There's also some companies, the partners that Rick mentioned. There's a few representatives here from Steelcase and Amway. So if you want to talk to any of these guys or any of the companies that have partnered already in terms of their commitment of mentorship or time or capital or whatever, you can contact me. We'll be out in the hall, or you can also reach out to Jeremy Bakken, who's out there. But we'll be hovering around the media wall that's right outside the door in the hallway for any sort of follow-up interviews or any one-on-one questions with these gentlemen or some of the companies that are standing outside. All right? Great. Thank you.